Hi, my name is Paula Blue, and today I want to address a common challenge in higher ed, and that's the lack of attendance and participation in faculty professional development. Today, I'd like to suggest the idea of applying adult learning principles to create a blended model for faculty professional development. Let's switch it up and start with some frequently asked questions. How do you promote professional development that faculty actually show up to? And then when they get there, how do you engage participation? What makes professional development stand out? What makes it stick? I think that one way to encourage and enhance professional development in higher ed is to treat faculty like the adults that they are, and that's by applying adult learning principles. Today, I only want to focus on three of those principles: experiential learning, self directed learning, and transformative learning. We find these words in the 2016 National Education Technology Plan. Professional learning and development programs should transition to support and develop educators' identities as fluid users of technology, creative and collaborative problem solvers, and adaptive, socially aware experts throughout their careers. That being said, not only do I propose the application of adult learning principles, but I also suggest that that be done in a blended learning environment. Incorporating technology not only differentiates professional development, but it also encourages and empowers faculty to use technology in their own courses with confidence. The first adult learning principle that we're going to discuss today is experiential learning. According to David Kolb, experiential learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of learning. It is considered meaningful, involves reflection, and leads to action. Kolb's research on experiential learning is an extension of the work of previous scholars, including Jean Piaget's model of learning and cognitive development, John Dewey's model of experiential learning, and Kurt Lewin's model of action research and laboratory training. So what does this look like in professional development? I'm glad you asked. One way is through faculty learning communities. Now, these could be interdisciplinary or interdepartmental. Either way, the ideal is to create a space for long-term professional development where faculty can reflect on their teaching in person and through online discussions. Then they're encouraged to implement relevant changes in the next iteration of their course. The second principle we'll discuss is self-directed learning. Malcolm Knowles describes self-directed learning as the process in which individuals take an initiative without the help of others in the planning, carrying out, and evaluation of their learning. This sounds antisocial, but it's really about the learner having authentic control. Malcolm Knowles promoted the idea that self-direction increases with maturity. Around the same time, Alan Tuff also contributed to self-directed learning theory by doing research that focused on adults and their learning projects in everyday life. As it relates to professional development, self-directed learning can take the form of self-paced online training. Lynda.com is a great resource that would allow faculty developers to create and share relevant playlists with faculty based on their own interests. As a follow-up, a group of faculty could get together and discuss their takeaways. The final principle I'd like to discuss is transformative learning. Jack Mesereau defines transformative learning as learning that transforms problematic frames of references to make them more inclusive, discriminating, reflective, open, and emotionally able to change. In other words, transformative learning involves tension. Mesereau's research presents transformative learning as rational, reflective, and critical. Other researchers of this theory include Robert Boyd and J. Gordon Myers, and they both identify intuition and emotion as factors. Overall, this theory requires a cycle of critical reflection and discourse. One way to incorporate transformative learning into professional development could be the launch of a mentoring and accountability program where two faculty members get together and they observe each other's classes inside the classroom and in the learning management system. And then they offer feedback that initiates that reflection and discourse cycle. So let's recap. We've discussed using 3 adult learning principles in a blended learning environment to promote enhanced professional development: experiential learning, self-directed learning, and transformative learning. One additional tip is to begin with a little self-evaluation. As faculty developers, we should always be considering ways to improve our approach to professional development. Sometimes that requires an entirely new vision altogether and making changes that lead to better programming and more engaged faculty. Another tip is to lean on faculty for ideas. You could identify faculty champions on and off campus who are at the forefront of innovative teaching. These instructors are usually respected and trusted among their peers, therefore they draw larger crowds when they present at faculty developments. You could also do a survey to figure out what your faculty are interested in. A final tip is to be sure that you have the support from your university's administration. Implementing this kind of change can come with its set of opposition, but it's always good to know that you have an administrative backing. You could also align your new vision for professional development with the university's mission or with campus-wide initiatives. While I support the idea of faculty professional development overall, I do realize that there are some possible challenges. Cultivating change of any kind can be stressful, but you also have to consider that what you're doing is worth it and that your gains are going to outweigh your challenges. So, if you're tired of failed attempts at successful professional development, think about the ways in which you might apply adult learning principles in your context. How does that translate on your campus? What and who could be your potential resources? How can you change the culture of professional development for the faculty you support? Thank you.